Hi and welcome to Play Hooky with me. My name is Roz, and in today's video I'm going to share how to make this vintage style granny square blanket that I'm working on. This is a beginner friendly pattern as well as the perfect stash buster project. You can pretty much use any color combination that you like because this neutral edging is going to pull it all together beautifully. So in this video I'll be sharing how to make the granny squares that you see here, and then I'm going to create a companion video to show you how to do this join as you go technique. Like I mentioned before, this is a great stash buster project because you can use pretty much whatever you have on hand. For mine, I'm working with a worsted weight, a weight 4, and with that I'm using a 5.5 millimeter hook. For this square, we're going to be working in 4 rounds, and the finished square for mine came out to about a 5 by 5 inch square. To begin, I'm going to do a magic ring or magic circle, but if you don't like doing magic circles, go ahead and do a chain 4 with a slip stitch to close. To do a magic circle, wrap the yarn around your fingers, hold with your thumb and forefinger, place your hook through the center, pull the yarn through, and create a chain. That's going to secure your magic circle. This is also going to serve as your first chain. Now, if you did the chain 4 with a slip stitch, go ahead and chain 4 now. If you did the magic circle, we need to do 3 more chains, giving us 4 in total. 1, 2, 3, 4. The chain 4 represents your first double crochet and chain 1 because we're going to be doing 8 double crochets in total with 1 chain spaces in between. Working into our magic circle, it's time to do a double crochet, yarn over, going into the ring, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1. We're just going to do this all the way around. When you're finished, you should have 8 double crochets and 8 chain 1 spaces. Okay, I've done my 8 double crochets. Remember, the first chain 3 serves as your first double. Chain 1 more. That'll give me my 8 chain 1 spaces. And now we're going to finish our circle. Working into the top of the chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Go in and create a slip stitch. Tighten your center, and now it's time to fasten off. I'm going to go ahead and hold on to these tails until I finish the second round, and I'll explain that when we get to that point. But for now, you have a choice here. If you want to make your squares reversible, you're going to want to flip to the back side before you begin. I like to do that because then you have the bumpy side and the smooth side on both sides, so then it looks right on both sides. But that is just a personal preference. If you don't want to do that, just start on the front with each round. To begin round 2, go ahead and add a slip knot to your hook and fasten on into any chain 1 space that you like. I'm going to go in and fasten on with a slip stitch. For round 2, we're going to be creating granny clusters in each chain 1 space. And when I say granny clusters, I just mean 3 double crochets. So to begin, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. That's going to serve as our first double crochet now and throughout the pattern. Now we're going to make 2 more double crochets. Yarn over, going into the same space, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. 1 more. Now we have 3 double crochets or our granny cluster. Chain 1. Going into the next chain 1 space, create another cluster, 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1. And now we're just going to continue this all the way around, and I'll see you at the end. Oops. I made a bit of a mess of that. Oh well. Now we're going to work into the top of the chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. And create a slip stitch. And now it's time to fasten off. Now if you're wanting to make this reversible, just like before, instead of working on the right side, flip it over to the back side to fasten on. For round 3, this is where we start to build our corners and our sides. So we're going to be making 4 corners and 4 sides on round 3. Fasten into any chain 1 space again. I'm doing mine with a slip stitch. And then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, to serve as your first double crochet. By the way, if you don't like the look of a chain 3, let me show you something really quick. To make the standing stitch, put a slip knot on your hook. Add a yarn over. And then when you go into that chain 1 space, go in, yarn over and pull through. And now do a double crochet. So yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And that's a standing stitch or a standing double crochet. And if you don't like the look of the knot on the side like that, guess what? You can actually take it out. Continuing on, 2 double crochets. Chain 1. We've just created one side, and now we're going to create a corner. 3 double crochets. That's your first cluster. Now to form your corner, chain 2. And then create another cluster into the same space. 3 double crochets. So far we've done a side and a corner, chain 1, 3 double crochets in the next space. Chain 1, we're back to a corner, 3 doubles, chain 2, that's going to form our corner, and 3 more doubles in the same space. Hello. And we're just going to continue this all the way around now. We've done a side, corner, side, corner. Now we're going to do another side, corner, side, corner. And I'll meet you after you finish your last corner. Okay, I finished my last corner. Don't forget to chain 1 in between. I did a standing stitch, so I'm going into the top of that stitch with my slip stitch. Here we go. And now we're ready for round 4. I'm making mine reversible, so I'm going to flip to the back side to fasten on. And now we're pretty much doing what we just did in round 3. We're just going to be forming our sides with 4 corners. For the previous round, we only had that 1 space between the corners to fill in. Now we have 2. And that's just going to keep growing incrementally the bigger the square you make. But this is going to be the last round for this particular pattern, but you can go bigger if you like. I like to fasten in on a side space, so I'm just going to do that. Go ahead and fasten on however you like best. Chain 3, or you could do the standing stitch, whichever you like best. And 2 more doubles to form the side. Another little tip here, if you think that the chain 3 is making it a little bit too wide for you, just go down to a chain 2. chain 1, we're at a corner, so it's cluster, chain 2, cluster, and now we're just going to continue this all the way around. Chain 1, going to the side, and I'll see you at the end. Okay, I'm at the end, I've done my last cluster and chain 1, now fastening off on the top of that chain 3, and we're all finished. For the blanket that I'm working on, I'm making about 80 squares. I think that's going to give me about a 3 by 4 foot lap blanket. I'm going to go ahead now and work on the video for the scalloped kind of edging that I made for this blanket. And I'll go ahead and make that available at the end of this video in a few days. But until then, if you're watching this in real time, I do have this continuous joint as you go technique that's perfect for granny squares.